Squirrels! So hello, and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra video. My name is Chris, and today we will be playing the Redheads. Yes, we are combining Katerina and Miss Fortune, and I think this is an idea that probably, isn't too hard to figure out. Miss Fortune, of course, levels up when you attack 4 times. Katerina gives you extra attacks, so, it's pretty obvious, and, they're both Redheads as well, and here we are with this deck. But I think it's quite a hard deck to create. The two regions are interesting together, but feel like they could be a bit more powerful maybe with other things. But this deck I've actually been doing quite well with, to be honest. It's quite competitive indeed, and I'm going to take you through why the deck is built like it is and the reasons for that. And it mainly centers around Katerina, and Katerina's main issue, you might say, is that with Katerina you need to have some sort of stable board presence. It's kind of think of it like ephemerals in a way, that you need, obviously offensively Katerina is very good, right, and you can push a lot of damage with her, but defensively, if you're just playing Katerina and there's no board with the rest of it, you're going to get smacked in the face for a lot of damage as well. And so you need to have a solid board presence, and so that means normally you're playing Katerina in decks that can control the board. These are called value decks, decks where you can make effective trades, keep your board alive, then you put down Katerina and you're going to get extra attacks, and it's going to give you the chance to win the game very early on. And so that's why we've built this deck. So let's run you through it. And of course, considering we are a value deck, we are going to be running a lot of just decently statted units, stuff like Jagged Butcher, and then talking about controlling the board, stuff like Hired Gun. Obviously giving something vulnerable means that we can probably make a favorable trade, particularly with Legion Drummer. Now this is a card that you may not have seen a lot of, but works very well with Miss Fortune, whose biggest downside is she often can't attack into a board, but with Legion Drummer on the board she definitely can, and she can make favorable trades. And of course Miss Fortune as well helps us make favorable trades with her shots going off and making something take on damage when it doesn't necessarily need to. And so combined with this early game here of these 1 and 2 drops, we can often get a very solid start and get a favorable board presence down. Similarly with Make It Rain, of course, we can potentially kill off multiple units and trigger plunder effects. Plunder isn't the biggest enabler in this deck. We aren't running too many plunder cards, I don't think. We've got Citrus Courier and Riptide Rex down here at the bottom, but I think that's it, apart from the Butcher, of course. So it's not a massive deal, but it can come into effect sometimes, and also again will help us control the board. Transfusion. Oh, and by the way, Make It Rain, of course, very good as well with Miss Fortune's when we're attacking, and Miss Fortune's thing goes off, we can potentially kill a unit before our units take any damage. Transfusion, of course, very good combat trick, and again, we want to be controlling the board in some essence and have some control there, so Transfusion very good for that. 2 Culling Strikes. This is obviously seen play in the Frostbite deck, and I think when you play that Frostbite deck you realize, Culling Strike kills quite a few things in this current meta we find ourselves in, and so Culling Strike I find is a good 2-off here. Will give you solid removal for certain units that might be a bit pesky. Think your Neverglade Collectors, things like that. This is a very good way to deal with them. Jewel Hunters again is a good way to deal with a unit that otherwise we can't really deal with. Again, combined with Miss Fortune, this can kill something with 5 health, which is obviously very strong. The fact that it gives you a sea monster as well, obviously we aren't playing 4 deep, but the fact that it gives us that card advantage and that extra card just makes this a very strong card in general, and one that fits well within this deck. Katerina, of course, and Miss Fortune are 2 champions, and combined with the Jewel Hunters give us nice turn 3 options. Noxian Fervor and Whirling Death obviously provide sort of combat tricks again, and Noxian Fervor, of course, against sort of controlling matchups or, Mystic Shot, something like that, will kill them. Whirling Death, for those of you who don't know, goes very well with Katerina. If you attack with Katerina and they've targeted her with a spell or something, if they have, obviously there has to be a target for Whirling Death as well, but Whirling Death will send Katerina back. It will count as a strike and it will recall her, which will mitigate any spells. So it's a very good combat trick with Katerina to use. Island Navigator and Redheads Hunter are both obviously scouts, which help Misfortune. They also, with Redheads Hunter again, will give us some board control. Citrus Courier, obviously a very strong card in general, and will again give us good board presence by healing our allies. And obviously the rally effect as well will allow us to push even more damage. And then finally one Riptide Rex, just as one final way to get the board in our control. So that's the deck, and I think it's a lot of fun, particularly if you like Katerina like I do, and yeah, I've had quite a bit of success with it. So let's go try it out in a game. So Twisted Fate Fizz, an interesting one for sure, but we've got a nice little curve out here. Transfusion could be okay as well, so am I gonna keep? I'll get rid of the transfusion, but I like our curve certainly. Make It Rain, obviously, if he's got Fizz, is a bit awkward, but there's, you know, not too much we can do. We probably will be the aggressor in this matchup, you would have thought. So there is Fizz on one. Obviously, again, not much we can do about that. We could use with something like Hired Gun, perhaps. Or if we can bring this Fizz into combat in any way, that would be nice as well. But we have a pretty good opener here. Let's call creatures. So we obviously know he's gonna be able to keep this Fizz alive, most likely. But I don't mind trading this if that's what he wants to do. If he wants to do this, that's somewhat fine as well. As he's probably looking now for Make It Rain. But that's a fine trade for us to make. So it's just a Jury Rig. Okay. So it's obviously gonna give his Fizz elusive, and we'll just wait on that one. Play our Misfortune. And this game could be somewhat of a race. You might go for something like Make It Rain now. Wouldn't be a shock. Happy to end the round. Well, so am I. There is the Hired Gun, and that kind of is very good against Fizz, of course. It's just whether we'd rather go Island Navigator or Hired Gun. And it's an interesting choice. He could be on Twisted Fate, something like that. I actually like giving this Fizz vulnerable. It deals with it very well. And it's something that he can't deal with. And obviously, again, with the Legion Drummer here, we can pretty effectively deal with this Fizz. Obviously, the trade into Legion Drummer isn't great here. In fact, no, he can only trade the Spray Fin into the Legion Drummer, of course. Yeah, so I can attack like this. Misfortune. Ah, well, maybe I attacked a bit wrong there. Misfortune will kill this and this, of course. So that's fine with me. We'll block the damage, but we're good. I should have actually done it the other way around with those. And given the Hired Gun probably the quick attack. But ultimately, it does not matter. He's down a Fizz, which is potentially a big-ish threat. And next turn, we've got Island Navigator. We've still got the Noxian Fervor in case he targets this with anything. And yeah, you see how we've set up a nice board presence early on. And that's what we'll be looking to do from here on out. Second Misfortune. It's fine. Warning Shot into some sort of plunder, black market. No, Jagged Butcher. This is a play that I think a lot of people make and is just simply incorrect. I think it's a pretty bad play overall. This is pretty nice for us though, Legion Rearguard. Intrepid Marina. Okay. I will block that with the Misfortune. I have no qualms with doing so. He obviously does get off a pretty big hit with that, but yeah, I have no issue with doing this. Good Mystic Shot. Pocket Aces. Interesting. So now we have a choice. We could Make It Rain or we could Fervor the Butcher. I think I will Make It Rain. Okay, I hit all three. That's probably pretty good for us, I would say. We didn't use the Misfortunes one. That's obviously very important to remember as well, that you never do that. Or don't do it when you don't want to, at least. So again, we can drop the Misfortune. depending on what our draw is, and get these attacks off. Could go for a Twisted Fate here. Red card obviously would be pretty big. Plaza Guardian is interesting. It's not going to stop me attacking though, I don't think, with either of these. As this will go down to 2 now, which obviously makes it pretty weak. We don't necessarily have to attack with the Misfortune. But honestly here I think I don't mind it. And yeah, we can just sort of go in with all. And be pretty, you know, content with that. Our Misfortune's on 2 of 4. Oh yes, of course it was the other one that didn't have it. But you see the synergy here that these have. And, you know, that's an interesting block.
Why are you here?
But you see, yeah, we're causing him quite a few issues here. Again, that's fine. And this is what I mean, we've got pretty good board presence. We've got, you know, spell mana open. Unfortunately, we can't use our mana that efficiently this turn, but that's fine as well. When it comes to our next attack turn, we will be able to Riptide Rex. Ooh, that's nice. So essentially, we just need to survive, and I think we probably will win this game. So he goes for counterfeit copies. That fizz. Warning shot. Into Pilfer Goods. That's fine. These are all things that I don't mind. Picks up a Butcher from us. That's honestly not the worst thing. It could have been a lot worse. Pick up an Astute Academic. That's pretty nice as well. And so we will be obviously going for this attack again. And we kind of are going to have a choice here of what we want. Misfortune is going to level up unless he can kill it. Takes the damage. So he's probably pretty dead. Which one would I rather go for? It's interesting. I mean, I could rally again, can't I? So yeah, with that in mind, let's just go with Riptide. Unless he's got exactly 8 damage in hand, we should be pretty good here. There we go. That's how the deck plays. Frosty Ezreal. Probably not our best matchup, to be honest, as we don't carry the biggest units. I like Noxian Fervor here. Joel Hunter's not its best matchup either. Jagged is pretty good for some early pressure. Oh, we've got a, you know, fairly nice curve, but as I say, this isn't our best matchup by any means. You know, and it will just be about trying to race him down as quickly as we can. Fervor is always pretty nice against any Ezreal deck, but we'll have to see. Now, against something like this, I mean, this is fine. But against something like this, it's always important. See, do I care about this? No, not enough. I'm sort of admitting that if his Ezreal levels up, then it's probably a good game anyway. He'll probably kill this with the Thermo Beam. We're pretty glad that he played this Ice Veil Archer, as this is like his main punishment for developing. And so by playing it, he's kind of said to us that you develop away, because pretty much everything he's got is going to be stuff like that. Okay. That's fine. We obviously know that stuff like that is going to happen, and we're going to have to accept that. That's fine. Fortunately, it would have been nice to make it rain this, but unfortunately that we are unable to do that. Now on turn 4, we don't want to give him Joel Hunters, as he's probably looking at something like Static Shock. So we want to keep away from that until he's used it. So I'll probably end up, depending on what he does, Just a pass. I think I am still gonna develop. I want to punish him in some way. I want him to make him do stuff. I want him to use stuff on this. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. You know, that would have gone on a Joel Hunters before, so that's fine. Now we've got the Noxian Fervor. Ooh, that's pretty nice. So, again, we'll start with the Misfortune. Which is a big threat to this Icevale Archer, of course. Goes for Rhyme Fang Wolf. So what, he's probably looking at Brittle Steel?
You've got dangerous eyes.
We'll give that vulnerable. He's either looking at Flash Freeze or Brittle Steel. Playing that probably. Give it vulnerable. So what we will do is obviously give Misfortune the quick attack. We aren't going to worry too much about this because he's probably, as I say, looking at Brittle Steel. This can't block, so that's fine. And by can't block, I mean obviously it can block, but... Oh, he's happy to trade this. That is also absolutely fine. And is no worries to me. Very happy to make that trade. He's down on 10, so he is pretty low. His Ezreal's on 4, so it's getting up there. We've got the double Noxian Fervor, which we can now definitely start using to our advantage here, I think. Out comes Ezreal. I think we'll go for Island Navigator here. We get the Attune.
Sounds dangerous. I'm in.
Unfortunately, we can't block. He will get the Mystic Shot. He will use it on this Legion Drummer, and we will Noxian Fervor, of course. If he goes in for the second removal, that's fine. And we are just going to smack face with it, because we just want to end the game as soon as we can. So that worked. That's very good. Could be something like Thermo Beam on Misfortune here. Second Rhyme Fang Wolf. Still fine. And now the advantage of scouts here is it's going to give us a way of knowing what he's up to. As in anything like a Flash Freeze or something like that won't be the most effective. Again, that's fine. That's an unusual trade, one that I didn't think he'd make. He's down on 4. We've got Noxian Fervor here. With the Misfortune attack, which is lethal. Archer is obviously a bit of a concern. We can play Joel Hunters now. We still have mana for both. So he's probably looking at...
Guns blazing.
Abyssal Eye or something like that. Still will attack. Not Abyssal Eye, he's looking for Harsh Winds maybe on these two, something like that. That's what you'd expect. Flash Freeze on that, that's still lethal. Okay, he just wants me to kill him instead, that's fine as well. Karma Lux, an interesting one. They do play quite a few units that do love a bit of board control. So I don't mind the Whirling Death. I don't... I'm going to take the Transfusion over it though, I think. Okay, we got a nice curve again. We've seen a lot of Misfortune and not so much Katerina. We'll see if we can lure her out of her sleeping habits.
Nothing but the stink of blood and sweat.
So Karma Lux, we will just open attack. We probably do want to use the hired gun when they have developed. If they don't want to develop, that's fine. Stuff like Joel Hunters against them is pretty good. They often don't have the most ways of dealing with something like that. But now could be a good time to play Misfortune, as he can't do anything. Normally you're looking at Remembrance, something like that. But without it we are A-OK also. So I think right now we'll go for the hide gun.
I like that.
Not just the eyes, you know.
We also got double transfusion, make it rain, for something like Grizzled Ranger, that we can just deal with. You could go for single combat here. Yep. So we'll just go for this.
Make it interesting,
That probably wasn't ideal. I probably made a misplay there because obviously the Grizzled Ranger couldn't block the Misfortune attack anyway. Yeah, that was a big mistake. I will kill you. Let's just do the attack with Misfortune, and I think the answer is probably not. Just let that lay there.
Love ya. Shadow.
Riptide, we've kind of, got all the top end of our curve and not enough. Katerina is pretty good in this matchup because it means that anything that they do develop is under some threat. Again, this is something that I don't really care that much about. Play the Joel Hunters now. Get an Abyssal Eye. That's very nice. We've still got the Transfusion backup. Plays Badger Bear. It's fine as well. So there's a couple things we could go in for here, but I think like Abyssal Eye the most.
Stare at the abyss. It'll stare back.
It's a pretty good card to pick up. It's going to give us obviously the draw. He's probably looking at Lux here. So nothing from him. That's interesting to say the least. So we obviously will take you. I think at this point we just have to be somewhat aggressive. Just go after him. If he's not going to develop, I'll attack into you. If you want to trade here, that's fine. So he just wants to take that attack. I'm quite happy with that overall. Definitely looking for either Lux or Karma. But I like what we've got in terms of board right now. Especially considering we can go into something like Citrus Courier next turn. Oh, that's... That one does hurt. Into Remembrance. Wow, double. Don't be double. Okay, that's not good either. We obviously now need to sort of consolidate ourselves.
You will be scoured from this land.
Can we afford to take 10? Probably not. And this butcher probably isn't doing that much on this board. Not right now. Yeah, these two are going to be a bit of a problem. We don't really have too many ways of dealing with massive bodies like this. Riptide is kind of our one. There's Lux as well.
We march as one, an unstoppable force.
You're quite nice. I think we have to try and Riptide here. Third strike. always likely. So I guess I have to accept that. This is the problem card here. Hit face. Oh. Okay, that's game over. We had to hit face there, and without it, we kind of screwed up. Yeah, just nothing we could do now. He's just gonna hit us in the. Okay, spoke too soon. Maybe we have a slight chance.
Strike for justice.
So again,
Not
I'll
my first
block
gunfight.
one. Pray. Oh, I should have gone for it there. I should have gone for it there. That would have made more sense. Oh my. Well, that is game over. There's 0% chance we are coming back from that. And so that is the deck. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Katerina, which is weird because she is a 3-of in this deck. But what you did see was the power of misfortune, and you saw that this deck, you know, you can control the board, particularly in the early stages of the game, and you can cause a big problem to a lot of different decks. And you know, just imagine you've still got that board presence, and you can imagine that Katerina in those situations would have also been good if you want. Particularly in that last matchup where I can't believe I'll make it rain luck. Oh, what even is that? So it's 25, so it's what, 1 in 8 that we don't hit it both times. That's pretty bad. Pretty feels bad. And then yeah, unfortunate, but what can you do? Yeah, so that's the deck. My name's been Chris. Leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.